This first trick is just another way to do an ultra hop. If you've been following this series so far, you're aware that you are able to perform an ultra hop out of a slide. This is half true. Ultra hops are able to be performed whenever Sybil has enough speed. It just so happens that Sybil gets a lot of speed when we initiate a slide. In the current footage, you can see me do ultra hops without needing to do any slides at all. I usually do these out of glide hops, but they also work out of CSJs, ledge slides, etc. All you need is enough speed and the right timing. The reason I didn't cover this trick in the beginner guide is because this trick can be quite hard to get a good feel for. A lot of good runners still fail this trick sometimes. How do we perform this trick? The most important part is to trick the game into thinking that we are performing a backflip. We move our control stick back, mid-air, after which we do the same thing as we would do for an ultra hop, quickly moving our control stick forwards and jumping. In one motion, that would be moving your control stick back, moving it forward quickly afterwards, and jumping when we land. The reason this trick can be somewhat hard to pull off is because you need to properly time when you start this entire sequence. If we're able to do all these motions as we are still high up in the air, all that happens is that we drastically slow down mid-air. Do it too late, and you'll likely perform an ultra hop backwards, if at all. Let's talk about how wall kicks work next. This is another thing that might look easy, but is, at least in my opinion, pretty difficult to get a hang of. Ultimately, you'll get better at angling where your wall kick will send you the more time you play the game. But it helps to at least start with an understanding of what angle of wall kicks send you where. Here you can see 4 examples of wall kicks. The top left and top right make Sybil turn 180 degrees upon hitting the wall. The kick in the bottom right hits the wall at a 45-degree angle and sends Sybil far away from the wall. This is probably the wall kick you want to perform the least. The bottom left wall kick is the hardest, but the most useful. Let's zoom in on that one. It's hard to tell, but what I'm doing here is actually kicking away from the wall slightly, but because Sybil's kicking hitbox is so big, it will still collide with the wall, thus sending us slightly into the wall, but also forwards. This kick is so important because it allows you to make the most distance as well as keeping the most momentum possible. We are doing a sort of reverse wall kick here. This becomes extremely useful when you want to keep a lot of momentum while still climbing up the wall. If we zoom back out, you can see that the special wall kick in the bottom left remains the most speed, together with the quote-unquote worst wall kick on the bottom right. Everybody can pull off a ledge grab. It's perhaps one of the easiest things to do in the game. But did you know that we can abuse this simple mechanic sometimes? Pseudoregalia is a very blocky game. And because the game is very blocky, there are a lot of walls and objects that might look like they're one structure, but they're actually just a very simple block stacked upon another block. Because the developer stacked a lot of blocks on top of each other, and the way ledge grabbing is coded, we are sometimes able to grab a ledge when you don't expect it. The classic example of this you are probably already aware of is the ledge grab we do when performing Soul Cutter Skip. This entire section has 2 walls that allow Sybil to ledge grab freely once she cling climbs to the top of the wall. Ledge grabbing refills all our clings and kicks, so we can easily climb to the other side, maybe by doing some more ledge grabs along the way. This trick could be used to skip a section of the tower climb when you want to obtain cling gem. I've seen some good runners pull it off in their PBs, but I've been told that even for them the strat is still very inconsistent, and they have spent hours on this tiny section alone. I'm showing you some examples where I came somewhat close, but it still wasn't enough. All this to say that ledge grabbing can be a lot more useful than you think, and as of yet, we haven't actually really looked into too many sections too well. It could be that there is a section somewhere along the route where we could use a cheeky ledge grab to save ourselves some time. You have to remember though, Sybil needs to stay in bounds for it to count for this category. The holy grail of ledge grabs, but also the most inconsistent, is the ledge grab you need to perform to be able to skip cling gem. Skipping cling gem is a huge time save of maybe like 2 minutes, but the tricks you need to do to be able to skip cling gem are so inconsistent. I myself am able to get this very precise trick every 1 in 30 tries, and if you look at my health in the top left, you'll see that I don't really have enough HP to be able to die 30 times. I don't recommend anyone do this trick unless you're absolutely certain you want to spend hours upon hours practicing this skip and losing plenty of runs, maybe even really good ones, simply because you couldn't pull off this trick. The next trick makes use of kicks. We throw our weapon in the air as we cling, to then send the ward towards the lever after kicking it. We can then quickly jump into the purple goop to respawn up on the platform above, skipping a little walkback section. All you need to keep in mind for this is that you need to recoil your sword later near a save crystal. The way the trick works is that Sybil can kick swords towards any enemy or lever, and in this instance, Sybil kicks the sword towards the guard, but also hits the lever. Because the sword travels through the guard, we can angle ourselves so that the sword hits both the guard and the lever, thereby opening the door. Alternatively, if you were to only hit the guard with your sword, but not the lever, you can trick the guard into hitting the lever for you by standing on top of where the lever is below you.